Yeah, I suppose probably the first 2 days of practice I wouldn't have been overly pleased. And I suppose it's like anything, like, you have a spell of really good form and then you just get hit with like a couple of, sort of misses, and you're like, it's just responding to that and trying to get back to your processes and looking at the film, and I feel like it's, I done an okay job yesterday, and go back to them myself thoroughly, and so.
Was there anything you noticed, like a through line with some of the misses?
Yeah, I think on the left hash I was pulling a couple of them left, so just making that sort of adjustment of, getting more downhill towards target a little bit more, not finishing towards left. But yeah, apart from that, like, it's just, sometimes you just miss kicks, and it's like in any sport, like, how do you deal with your setbacks, and just figuring out, just being quite relaxed before it, and still trusting that I've made a lot of really good progress since I got here last March, and I feel like the line of improvement was constantly going like that, and then you just have a little dip in form, and sometimes that happens, and it's like, how do you respond to that? And I'd rather that happen in training camp than whenever you're an NFL starting kicker, and figuring it out then, and how do you respond to these setbacks, and I felt like it, I'm back on track now,
There's been an emphasis on shorter kicks at this stage of camp. Is that true? And how has that process been for you?
Yeah, I suppose whatever Phil asks us to do, we just go out and kick it. Like, I don't know what's coming up every day. All I know is that whenever the ball's spotted, for the most part, it probably has been a little shorter. And you just go out and you just have your same process, and whatever you're asked to do, I just go out and do it. And it's I suppose most of the kicks are inside of 60 yards anyway, inside of 50, 55 yards anyway. So just trying to do a good job and go out and making them all. And yeah, let's see how the rest of camp goes. I'm really looking forward now to the next couple of weeks and the next the pre-season games coming up, and hopefully getting the chance to put up some good tape and film.
Is there anything that you do away from the game or anything like that that kind of works on sort of the mental preparation of what you're discussing, like moving on to the next kick?
Yeah, well, I like to keep my circle quite small in terms of who I talk to, and so I've got some good contacts. My coach from home, and a former kicker here, John Carney. I talk to him quite a lot, and then you just talk to your friends and family and try and keep your mind off it. I think the easy thing to do is, or the thing that might happen most naturally, is you start to question loads of things. And I'm like, hold on a second, like, a couple of missed kicks isn't going to define, who I am as a kicker, and, it's just maybe a small technical fix and something maybe in your preparation, and not overthinking things, because at the end of the day, any time you get the opportunity to go out and hit some kicks, I feel like I've done a pretty good job, even in the spring there, and then I had a pretty good, summer as well. I went to a camp and I had a pretty good camp at it, and so like a couple of missed kicks isn't gonna, I'm not like suddenly a bad kicker. It's just you just work through it and you go into the next practice and try and make them all. That's really where the mind is, and it's in a really good spot at the minute now.
I assume that there's value in forgetting the good ones too, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, in my off base, so you don't want to be too confident at the same time. Like, there's the other side of that.
Yeah, it's really like, how well can you process like a one kick at a time mentality, and it is easy to hit a big one or hit a long field goal and you're like, yeah, I'm the man or whatever. It's like, sometimes that's the easy thing to do, but it's really a one kick at a time mentality. And whenever you go through some adversity, that's what helps you get through that adversity as well. Is that whenever the good times are good, it's still the next kick. And whenever you miss a kick, it's still the next kick, and it's the same process. And that's really where the mind's at right now. And we've got some, like, obviously our operations like unreal. Like, Zach's the best snapper in the league. Our holders are really good. We've got a couple of punters in here, and they're really, really good holding. So probably the one thing that I wasn't helping myself with was the operation times were really quick. So just slowing down, seeing more of the ball, and that helps you, make more kicks as a result of that. And that's an easy fix. Just go a little slower, So it's yeah, that's it on that one, I suppose.
You've been here a little while now. I mean, in New Orleans. Biggest difference between New Orleans and back home? When you talk to people at home, what you tell them?
Well,
the thing about New Orleans is what?
One of the first thing that came to my head was just the heat. It's like every day at home I'm in, sweatsuits, and I'm wearing coats and jackets and hats, and I don't even think I have a coat with me here, so I might have to invest in one maybe in the future, and because I remember last year it actually was like, okay, it's like 15 degrees, but it feels like it's like 5. This is in Celsius, by the way, so that's the way my head works. But yeah, just the people as well, you can tell like how passionate they are about the Saints here. Like even before, I wasn't driving here until November of last year, so constantly Ubering and just talking to all the Uber drivers, and everything's about the Saints. Like it's like the Saints is the biggest market here, and that's really cool because I don't think a lot of the cities are like that in the States, and everybody's just so passionate about the Saints football here, and it's really, really cool to be a part of a franchise where the fans care so much about their team.
Did you tell the Uber drivers who you are?
No. I just say I'm visiting. I just like to keep it. Just doing it. Me and Matt used to because me and Matt would have lived together in a hotel, and we actually live together now. And we would have says, we were travelling together, and like, how do you know each other? You're from Australia, he's from Ireland, and just making up a story too here or there. But look, it's a bit of fun,
How did you get hooked up with John Carney?
Yeah, so my coach from home would have went out to him whenever he was initially trying to make it as a kicker, and I've went out to San Diego a couple of times. And my favourite thing about talking to John is that whenever you go to you can just go and sit in his office and pick his brain about his years of, 25 years of experiences. And, like this is my second year playing football, and I've got so much to learn. But it's just about learning on the fly and still feeling like you belong here. And that's the way I feel, So it's really good just to, picking his brain on a couple of things, and like in this situation, how do you handle yourself? Like, what are you doing in this situation? And even last year, it was good to, I was on the sidelines last year and getting to see how Blake handles those situations too, and just taking your learnings from that, I suppose. And but John's been awesome, and my coach from home as well. He's been really, really good, and I've met a load of really good people here to keep things moving forward.
So going through what you did, you went to Tennessee, right? Like, speaking of like feeling like you belong here, you're around all these other kickers. Did you win day one? Is that like?
Yeah, so there would have been 2 competitions in day one, and we went sort of with the wind, and then we went against the wind, and I won both of them. So that was a pretty nice feeling, like. And then the second day it was a pretty good day as well. But that was a nice feeling, like going against probably 8 or 9 starting kickers in the league, and putting up some nice numbers, and so it's that shows that you've got some pedigree, I suppose, but at the end of the day, that's irrelevant now. It's training camp, and it's the practices and the games coming up. That's where you have to perform, and just that's the plan now ahead, just to keep making kicks, and one kick at a time, one day at a time, and we'll see where it takes me.
What was the competition? Was it like a distance competition? Is that what it was?
It was you working your way out, and there was a couple of guys then, and I ended up the kick. It was like it ended up pretty long kick then at the end, and it was just nice to go up against some of those guys, and but yeah, look, it was good. It was a really good week as well, just to go and be around more NFL specialists and forget the competition, just picking the likes of like Daniel Carlson of the Raiders, who's an all-pro kicker, McPherson's kicking Super Bowls, picking those guys' brains and being around them and playing some cornhole, and I suck at cornhole, like, but I'm just like, I throw pancakes, the guys spin them, so just dealing with that, like, I suppose. But yeah, just like getting to learn from those guys, and even Dustin Hopkins has been in the league 13, 14 years now, and the really good learnings from those guys, and they're really, really good fellas.
What's the longest kick you've ever made, like in practice?
Some like 70, 71, I think. I don't really attempt the long ones that much anymore. On my own, I just try, and because you don't kick those in games really, so that's the thing. It's like, people think that you've got a strong leg, but you're not consistent inside of. But it's like, no, like my emphasis is on what am I going to face in games, and it's 60 and in really is for the most part is what you're going to be dealing with.
Do you kick the same kick? Like, how do you gauge? So if you're kicking from 35 versus you're kicking from 60, do you keep the same process when you're short? Like, are you kicking a 50-yard kick even when it's a 35? How do you? Yeah,
well, it's probably the same power output, but the one thing, depending whether you're indoors or outdoors, is at what line you're taking. So, if you have to, like, where does my ball reach its apex normally, and it's, you know, and then that's where, on the way down, that's when the wind is normally going to start to take it. So whenever you're, you know, 55 plus, it's like, okay, I need to start adjusting to the wind a little bit here. So, but if it's indoors, yeah, it's the same process really, yeah.
So if it's like you want it to, if the apex is
Well,
past the goalpost, you don't really have to worry about the wind.
yeah, that's the way, that's kind of the mindset in that, yeah. All right, yeah, thanks guys.